Hey everybody, Oliver Joyce from Whiskey Barrel Studios here. Welcome to the first game developer update for Spartacus. If you've heard or if you haven't heard, Spartacus is basically the name of my new project, which is a combat action platform game that I'm developing in Unity. I announced this maybe a month ago in a video, which is the beginning of basically this little playlist that I'm putting together. And the idea is if you follow along with this playlist, you'll be able to see the development of Spartacus from its conception to the finished product in hopefully 6 or 7 months. Touch wood. It's an interesting project for me because I have used Unity before, the game engine Unity, but it's been about 4 years since I have, and so I've had a lot of relearning to do, and that has been the last week. And so in this first developer video, this basically developer diary, I'm just going to go through what I've got so far. And before I show you what I've got on my screen, I'll tell you a little bit more about the project. Basically, Spartacus is designed to be a combat action platform game. That sounds like a bit of a mouthful, but all it really means is that you have a little character who runs around a level fighting Roman guards, rescuing prisoners, defying traps, and collecting power-ups and getting to the next level. The levels are designed to be small and challenging, not these huge sprawling levels that you might see in a lot of platform games. Levels that are designed to be finished in about a minute or so. And the idea behind that is I want the game to be popular with speedrunners, twitchers, those kind of people that like a challenging game and want to beat world records. The idea is that you'll be able to beat most levels with a bit of practice, but to get really good at the levels, you want to make no mistakes at all, and there'll be a little countdown timer. And I'm hoping that there'll be a bit of a competitive element to this game as people go, have you beaten, level 15? I beat it in 47 seconds. What's your best time? Anyway, that's the plan right now. That may change. I'm a firm believer in iterating in games, working on them, repeating. And that is what's going to happen in Spartacus, because all I have at the moment is in my head. And a lot of the stuff in your head is one thing, but once you get it on screen, it can be quite different. So without any more preamble, let's get into what I have so far. And I must warn you, it's not much, but I'll tell you a little bit about the process behind it. All right, so you're looking at my screen right now, and what you can see behind me is, on the screen, is Unity. And Unity is a very popular game engine, probably the most popular game engine in the world right now, along with Unity and Game Maker. Unity actually has a bit of a bad reputation amongst gamers because it's kind of funny. A lot of bad games are made with Unity, and a lot of new game developers get in and they chuck some assets together and put a game up on the App Store and Steam and so on. And the games are often of very low quality, and you'll see the Unity Splash logo in front of those games. But the great irony is that there are a lot of great games also made in Unity, like Pillars of Eternity. God, now I had a mental blank. But there's dozens and dozens, hundreds and hundreds of your favorite games that are made in Unity. And the developers that make them use the Unity Pro package, which what I have here, you can see with a dark background. The regular Unity has a light grey background like that. And that Unity Pro has the option to turn off the splash screen. So you never see that the game's actually made in Unity. It's only the sort of cheap and nasty games that are using the regular one. So there you go. So don't blame the engine, blame the maker. And that's what gets me a little bit nervous, because I am a bit of a rookie when it comes to Unity. I'll be the first to admit it. I actually have released one game for Unity some years back. About 4 years ago, I made a game called Dark Rolls, and yeah, ridiculous name, I know. It was cashing in on Dark Souls. It was a Marble Madness platform game. Pretty terrible. I'm going to be the first to admit it. The game sucked, but it was a great learning experience. It's no longer on the App Store, so I don't even try to download it, but you can find it on YouTube if you want. It was a great way to learn about the techniques of Unity and get my head around the many unfamiliar systems. But 4 years later, so much has changed. And so when I finally dived back into Unity again a week ago, I found I'd forgotten so much of it. And so I've been doing a bunch of tutorials, written and video tutorials and so on, just to get my head around it. And it can be quite overwhelming. There's so much knowledge to do with the engine, and just finding the right way to do things is, a real challenge, because there are many ways to do the same thing, and you keep thinking, is this the way? And coming from a different game engine that I've been using, which was Air and Starling, which I used to make the other Swords and Sandals games, this is a whole different kettle of fish. And so most of this week has been spent doing tutorials. However, I have started working in the game, and the first thing I decided to use and create was a character. And I have an actual artist working on the game with me. Thank God. You won't have to look at my art for this game. He's a great pixel artist. His name is Brulov. He's from the Ukraine, and he has worked on a number of excellent pixel art games. I'm going to show you some of his work in a future video, but for now we're going to be using my awful stick figure animations because I needed placeholder art for this game. I came up with an animation list and then I drew it. Here we are in Photoshop. You can see this is a 32 by 32 tile, and I've just drawn a little stick figure character like so, blah blah blah. It looks awful, but it's good enough for the purpose. It's fit for purpose. So what I did is I came up with a list of things that I wanted my hero to do, and then you can see them all here: attacking, dead, defending, duck, fall, hurt in the air, jump, climbing a ladder, swinging a rope, standing, swimming, turning, victory, walking, 3 frames for walking. And I've drawn them, and very simple ones. So you can see, the hurt one has a little blood splat there. And a lot of programmers do that. They use what's called placeholder art. So I've created all these images, saved them as PNG files, transparent. Then I brought them into a program called Texture Packer. Now, Texture Packer is a great way to get all your art into one image that you can then bring into Unity. And you can see here in Texture Packer all our images in one, what's called a sprite sheet, a sheet of sprites. Each one of these things is a little sprite. And that's all our character frames. There's about 20 or so. And once we've got all those in, we can publish them. I'm going to publish, done. And I've set this up to bring it straight into Unity. And then as I, find more animations and bits and pieces, I'll add them to that. And then that will update in Unity. So we go over to Unity here, and we can actually see we have the hero in here. So where is it? Sprite sheets, character sprite sheet is there. Hey, come on. So that's our texture packer file there. Our hero is here. These are all our, that's what I was looking for, all our frames, and they are useless on their own. What you're going to do is create an animation for them. And so I've created a player hero, prefab hero. Here he is. Here's our little character. And associated with him is a bunch of animation files, and which basically tell the game that, there is an attack, the dead, fall, and they're down here. And you can kind of see them. So if I click on the hero, come on. A lot of this is going to go wrong because I'm still learning Unity, so I'm going to be clicking on the wrong buttons all the time. It's humbling, and I want you guys to know that I've been doing game development for a long time, but there's still a lot for me to learn, and never feel bad about learning and feeling a little overwhelmed, because we all get there. Even though, and I've been doing this forever, but I still overwhelmed by this. I feel overwhelmed. So here's our attack animation. We can play that. That's our little attack. Really pretty poor, waving his little sword around. We've got a walk animation, and we can play that one. That's particularly bad. What is that? It doesn't look like a walk cycle at all, but it doesn't matter, because within a matter of weeks I'll have proper art for this. And don't get too hung up on programmer art, they always say. So every character has what's called an animator, and what we've set up here are all the various animation states which we're going to be using. I'm using a tool called the Corgi engine, which is a plugin for Unity that allows you to make platform games. So I'm not building this all entirely from scratch. I have built platform games in the past in Starling and Flash and so on. And they're a lot of work, and I don't want to spend years on this project. And so I figured, why reinvent the wheel? What I would like to do is get straight into the design of the game as quickly as possible. I don't want to be working out how to get a player to stand on a moving platform. I don't want to have, all the collision problems, how to get them running up slopes and everything, when something else can solve that for you. Eventually, when I want to make a big role-playing game like Sword and Sandal 6, I will probably, design it all and build that from scratch. But for the purposes of this game, an engine like the Corgi engine is perfect for it. You can look that up as well if you're interested in making your own game in Unity. The Corgi engine is perfect for you. Anyway, back to this. We have a little animator here, and that is a little diagram that runs in the game. And it tells you what our player will be doing. So we have an animation here, the idle, we would play that. Hero stand frame. When he's jumping and falling, it'll play a mixture of a bunch of different ones. It'll jump until he's reaches a certain height, then it'll play the fall animation. It's really clever, so it's quite programmatic. I've only started to fill a bit of that out because I still don't have all my animations yet, but I'll be doing that for the rest of the day. What else do we have to do with our character? So if we get out of the animation window, go back to our hero. Here in the inspector, we can see all sorts of properties, and we can see the speed of the character I can change just by sort of sliding that up or down. I can see how fast the maximum slope he can run up, the gradient of it. I can say that I can see if does he interact with certain things, does he stick to slopes. There are all these extra scripts I've got here that allow me to go, does the character dive, does he dash, can he swim? And I'll be editing and overriding these when I get further into the process. So there you go, that's making a character. Now let's see how that character looks in a scene. So if we go out of our hero here, we have a very basic level. You can see here, that's our level. And where are our platforms? There we go. The grey area represents very simple platforms. Not much to them at all. Nothing to them. You can't see our hero because he gets called via code. But when we press play, we'll see a hero on the screen. There he is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this bigger. Right. Look. So actually, you know what? I think there's a shortcut to do that. If I recall, is it like shift 1, shift space or something? Maximize on play. Try and maximize on play. So stop. I wouldn't mind you guys seeing the full screen of this. Maximize on play. Okay, compiling. No. Oh well, that's the size. We can zoom in like this anyway. You can see our character on screen running, using his little run animation. He has an idle, when he's like this. You can jump. There are 2 frames for that. You can see the jump and the fall. Very simple. But we have it. We have a character. The camera doesn't follow him or anything yet, and he jumps way too high. I don't want this game to be a super athletic platform game. You'll probably have to jump about, 2/3 of that, maybe like that, not full height, because it's going to be more focused on, think Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia, he couldn't jump that far, but it was, all about climbing and that kind of thing. That's how easy it is to get something up and running. The Corgi engine is fantastic because it handles a lot of the collisions and things for me, and I'm able to edit so much of it. We are really in the infancy of developing Spartacus. Each week, hopefully each week, at maximum every couple of weeks when I've got something to show you, I'm going to be updating this video and adding a new video, just showing you my progress on the game. And I'm excited to see where this goes, and I'd love to look back when it's all done and see where this all came from. and just laugh at how basic my skills were in Unity and how far they've hopefully come. So that's it for Developer Diary 1 of Spartacus. I hope that was useful for you and interesting, specifically for people that are into game development and want to learn more about the procedures behind the game and the processes and just how it all works. I'm pretty new to this side of game development in Unity, and I'm really interested to see where it all can go and just how cool the games can look. Unity allows me to bring games like this to Switch and PS4, and I'm excited. I don't want to release a rubbish game. I've been developing games for a long time, and although I'm new to Unity, I'm not new to game development. So I will be trying to bring all that polish that I've had in making games for many years. So please don't fret in that, I think I know what I'm doing. That's it for now. If you have any questions about Spartacus, the game project, or Spartacus the character, or Swords and Sandals, or whatever, anything Whiskey Barrel Studios related, please hit me up in the comments. Until then, I will see you the next video, which is probably about a week or two. Thank you for joining me today, and bye for now.